Hi folks, so today we're going to look at task 3, activity 5 of the Understanding Money unit, and this is about credit cards. Okay, so this whole task is about different types of banking, and this is specifically about credit card repayments. And we're going to look at how paying back via credit card, how doing that repayment, with interest rates, how it affects how long it takes to pay off the full amount if you pay it back over a certain length of time. Okay, that's what we're going to look at today. Okay, so to understand what credit cards are, they're a way of borrowing money, right? Credit cards are not money that any person has. Okay, credit cards, in the same way you get a loan and then you pay that back with interest, the exact same happens with credit cards. Okay, it looks like someone's paid for a card and they've got money in their account like a current account, and that's not how it works. Credit cards, you are borrowing money off the bank and then you have to pay that money back, but with interest on top of it. So you do end up having to pay back more than you've actually borrowed. That's the way banks make money off it. Okay, so what happens is when you apply for a credit card, you'll be given a credit limit, or you'll be offered a credit limit, and that is related to your credit score. So for example, young people will probably have a lesser credit limit than adults. So my first credit card, I think my credit limit first was about £200 or £500, so I could only borrow up to £200 or £500. But then as you get older and you start to build up your credit score, banks trust you to borrow their money, so your credit limit can increase to £1,000, £2,000, £3,000, £5,000. So yeah, you're able to borrow this money, but then remember, you are having to pay it back, and pay it back with interest. So you need to be careful with how much you are using credit cards. Okay, so they are good though, a good method of borrowing money, in terms of they allow you to buy things now and pay for them later. So what usually happens is you pay for things on a credit card, and then the next month or the month after that, you then either pay off that full amount or you just pay back some of it. Okay, so it allows you, basically, if you want to buy something and you don't have all the money right now, it means that you can pay it back in installments, so it's a bit more manageable. So the problem is though, if you don't make your if you miss a payment, if you spend more than you actually are able to pay back, you are charged astronomical levels of interest. So if you do miss any payments, the bank really punishes you for that, and you end up losing quite a lot of money out of it. So you need to make sure that you have enough money to make your repayments on your credit card. So we're going to look at an example. So the FIT credit card charges 1.46% interest per month on outstanding balances. Okay, so what that basically means is that if you borrowed £100 on your credit card a month, you would have to pay back that £100 plus 1.46%. So basically plus £1.46. So you would have to pay back £1.46 on top of your £100, so £101.46. That's just like an example using £100 as your borrowing. Obviously, if you then go £1,000, it becomes £14.60. So it builds up the more you do, the more you borrow. The interest rate on credit cards is often expressed as an annual percentage rate, so APR. So you'll see that quite often in the kind of fine print in adverts and banking and all that sort of thing. They do that so that credit cards can be compared on an annual basis. And if you go into that website I talked about in the last few activities, Money Saving Expert, you'll see an explanation of what APR is. If the credit card charges 1.46% per month, it equates to 19% annual percentage rate. Now that is more than just, you'd think if it's 1.46% per month, you just times that by 12 and that's how much it is in a year. Well, that's not how it works, because of this thing called compound interest. So interest is compounded over months, which basically means it costs you more and more each month the longer that you borrow it for. Okay, so the fundamental point of this activity is to show you that the difference in paying back money in a shorter term and a longer term, and how much that's going to cost you in the end. Okay, so I've got we've got two calculations to do. Okay, so you've got Jamie that buys a new carpet using his FIT credit card, the carpet cost him £300. So please copy down that sentence. Okay, this is what this is about. Jamie buys a new carpet using his FIT credit card and the carpet costs him £300. Now we've got two scenarios here. We've got Jamie paying the credit card company £100 at the end of each month. How much will he still owe after 3 months? Well, you might think, well, he's paid £100 for 3 months, £100, £100, that's the £300. So how is it not paid off? Well, because of this interest that you get charged, there is going to be a little bit extra that he still owes. And then again, different scenario is that we've got £50 only, so we're not paying £100 each month, we're paying £50. How much would he still owe after 6 months? Okay, so both of these add up to £300, but unfortunately, because we're borrowing money using a credit card, it doesn't actually pay off the full amount of £300, and we'll see why in a minute. Okay, the first thing we need to be able to do is understand the interest rate. So let's write this down. So the interest rate was 1.46%, right? And to make our lives quicker and easier, to find 1.6% of something, right? This is a percentage question. I told you all of this is all about percentages. To find 1.6% of something, you just times the quantity by 1.46 over 100. So standard percentage question, 1.46 divided by 100. So if you do 1.46 divided by 100, to change that to a decimal number, that is 0.0146. So basically what we're going to do here, to find that interest added on, we're just going to times our values by 0.0146. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So we're going to set up a little kind of table here. So we're going to have the month, we're going to have the interest added, we're going to have the payments that we make, and then we're going to have the balance at the end of that. Okay, so copy down those headings just now, please. And get your calculators ready, because I want you to do the calculations in your calculator at the same time. So month 0, if you like, so right at the start, the balance is £300 because he's just bought the couch, okay, and it's cost him £300, right? So at the end of, when month 1 comes around, okay, at the end of the month, he is charged interest at this 1.46% on the balance of £300. So we're just, to work out how much interest we're adding onto this balance, we just do 300 multiplied by 0.0146. And that's going to be the amount of interest we get charged on that balance of £300. So 300 times 0.0146. Do it in your calculators, please. And you get £4.38. Okay, so then the balance at the end of month 1 would be the 300 plus the interest that we're charged. So that's £304.38. Now I do make a payment of £100. Do this in a different colour. I do make a payment of £100, which means that at the end, that balance is now going to be £204.38, because I'm subtracting that £100 from the balance. Okay, so then at the end of month 2, I am now going to do 1.46% of the new balance, which has now gone down to £204.38. So it's £204.38 multiplied by my same interest rate, so that's not going to change. So because my balance is getting smaller, my interest should get smaller as well. 0.0146. So this time it's 2.98 that I'm going to add on. So work that out. So it's £204.38 plus this interest of £2.98. So that means the balance has now gone up a wee bit to £207.36. But then, of course, at the end of month 2, I do make my second payment of £100, which is going to take £100 off that balance. So that's going to be £107.36. So now at the end of the third month, I'm getting charged 1.4%, 1.46% of the balance, which is now just £107.36. So it's £107.36 times that same percentage. So the interest should go down again. Oops. Just be careful how you put it in your calculator. Don't rush it because I've just made a wee mistake there. So that's just, so it's 1.567, so that's £1.57 is going to be added on. So add on £1.57 to your balance there, £107.36 plus £1.57. So that is £108.93. But then after at the end of the third month, I do make my third payment of £100, which is going to take 100 off this. So that means at the end, I'm going to have £8.93 left over. So because of the process of compound interest, it means that even though the carpet costs £300 and I've paid £300, it doesn't mean that I've paid off the full balance. I've still got £8.93. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but for paying £50 at the end of each month. And this is going to be, we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be 6 months, so it's going to be a slightly bigger table. So just copy it down with me. We're going to do the same thing. So we're going to have the month here. We're going to have the interest that's added. We've got the payments that we make, and then we have the balance at the end. So this is basically to show you that if you pay it over longer, is it going to mean that you have more to pay at the end of the month, or is it going to mean you have less to pay at the end of the month, or is it going to be exactly the same? So work that out. So at month 0, I've got £300 to pay. At the end of month 1, I'm going to add that same, so the interest rate is still the same, and it's 1.46%. So 300 times 0.0146. So it's actually the exact same as the start of the last one. So that's going to be £4.38 that's added on. So £304.38. This time the payment that I'm making is £50. So I'm not taking 100 away from this, I'm taking away 50. So that's going to be £254.38 that's left at the end of month 1. The end of month 2, I'm now doing 1.46% on my balance. So we're just going to continue to work through this. So 254.38 times the 0.0146. £3.71 is getting added on. So add on £3.71 to my balance, 254.38 plus £3.71. So that's going to be £258.09. But then I make a payment of £50. So I take £50 away from my balance. So that's going to go down to £208.09. And we're just going to keep on doing this up to 6 months. So £208.09 times the interest rate. So do this with me, please. If you need to pause the video at any point to catch up, just do that. So that's 3.038, so it's £3.04 to the nearest penny. So add that on to your balance, 208.09 plus 3.04, £211.13. Then I make my payment of £50, so that you take £50 away from that, so that's going to be £161.13. Okay, and we keep going. Sorry, just making a wee bit of space here. Come on. Sorry, now my pen's not wanting to come back on. Right, you should be able to carry on though, doing 1.46% of the new balance, which is £161.13. Let me just try and fix this screen. Okay, I think we're back. So at the end of month 4, let's keep going. So it's balance now £161.13 times by your interest. So the wee bit of interest added on, 161.13 times 0.0146. So that's going to be £2.35 that I'm adding on. So add that onto your balance. So £2.35 plus £161.13. So £163.48, and then I make a payment of £50. So that's going to go down to £113.48. Keep going. At the end of month 5, we're almost there now. £113.48 times 0.0146. So what's the interest added on this time? £113.48 times 0.0146. So it's the same calculation every time to calculate the interest, just timesing it by 0.0146. The interest rate as a decimal. So that's £1.66 I need to add on to that. Okay, remember you're always rounding that to the nearest penny, the second decimal place. So that goes up a wee bit to £115.14. And I make my payment of £50. So that brings that down to £65.14. Now the last month, month 6, I've got £65.14 times by the interest rate. So how much is getting added on this time? Not that much. 95 pence only, so 0.95. So 65.14 plus 0.95 gives me £66.09, and then the final payment of £50 is made, which takes my final balance at the end of month 6 to be £16.09. Okay, that was a wee bit of work, but we got there in the end. Now, why did we do that? Well, it's to show you if we compare the two calculations, as I say, the payments that have been made in both are both £300. But if we spread it out over 6 months, £50 each month over 6 months, we have £16 still left to pay. If we pay it off quicker by paying £100 over 3 months, we've only got £8.93 left to pay. So the fundamental rule I want, or the fundamental lesson really I want you to take away from that, is that when you have debts, when you've borrowed money, if you possibly can afford to, you should be paying it back over a smaller length of time as possible. Because if you don't, the interest is going to build up and you're going to end up paying more in the end. So you might think, oh, I could pay, pay this television back, and it says I can pay it like £20 a month over, the next 24 months. And you think, oh, that's great. But actually, if you tally up how much you'll pay in total, it's going to be much more than if you just paid it back over 6 months, for example. So that's the main thing I want you to get out of this, is understanding how interest works and how it's not just as simple as you buy something for £300, you put it on your credit card and you make payments of £300 and then it's paid off. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you get charged for borrowing that money, and the longer you borrow it for, the longer it takes you to repay it, the more it's going to cost you in the long run.